Hi, I'm Melissa Davis, and welcome to Hello Prime Life, where midlife isn't a crisis, it's your comeback. Think about the most self-assured woman you know. The one who walks into a room, slides into a chair at the head of the table, and speaks up in a meeting without a single throat clear or apology. You've probably told yourself a story about her. It just comes naturally to her. She's always been confident. It's easy for her. Here's the truth. Every single one of those stories is wrong. They weren't born that way. They built it. And if you've ever said to yourself, I'm just not one of those confident people, I've got news for you. Confidence isn't a personality trait. It's a skill, which means you can absolutely strengthen it or regain it if it's slipped away. You haven't lost it. It's just hidden behind the I've got this mask you've been wearing for a decade. Believing you have to feel confident before you do something new is like standing on the edge of a pool in summer, staring at the water and waiting to feel cool before you dive in. It doesn't work that way. You have to get wet first. Today, we're going to break down how confidence actually works, why it's not about feeling fearless, why it dips in midlife, and the practical ways you can rebuild yours stronger than before, even if you can't find it right now. So why does confidence take such a hit in midlife? Let me start with something personal, a moment that could have destroyed my confidence forever. When I was 13, I got kicked out of my dance studio. Why? I beat the teacher's favourite student in a competition. She actually sent me out into the rain to walk 5 kilometres home, humiliated, confused, and wondering what I'd done wrong. At 13, I didn't have the words for what I was feeling, but looking back, I know exactly what message my brain absorbed that day. Success makes people punish you. Being good at something isn't safe. That's the story a 13-year-old tells herself when the adult she trusted kicks her out for winning. The whole experience could have killed my confidence completely, and for a while it did. The story lived in my mind for years, showing up every time I was about to succeed at something, whispering, "Be careful, this is when bad things happen." But what it didn't kill was my love of dancing, or my determination. I found another teacher, I choreographed my own routines, trained even harder, and passed my exams with distinction. It taught me something valuable. Sometimes the very thing that tries to break you ends up being the thing that builds you. Which is why what's happening to you right now isn't permanent. But let's talk about what is happening, because midlife throws some brutal confidence killers your way. For starters, turn on any screen for 10 minutes and count how many women over 50 you actually see. Not the ones fronting the anti-aging cream ads who look suspiciously like they're still in their 20s. Or could be they're just Botox to the max. No matter where you look, you can't escape the fact that we live in a youth-obsessed world. Once you hit your 40s and 50s, it's easy to feel like you've crossed some invisible line into irrelevance. Being overlooked isn't in your head. It's real and it's rampant. Flip through any magazine, watch any reality show, scroll any social platform. The message is relentless. Younger equals better. Meanwhile, your roles are shifting, your body is changing, and nothing feels familiar anymore. Maybe your kids need you less, your career has plateaued. The identities you've relied on to feel valued are blurring, and you're wondering, who am I now? For someone who's always been the nurturer, the planner, the organiser, the partner, the go-getter, the fixer, the glue that holds everything together, suddenly it feels like it's all falling apart. On top of that, your body's doing things you didn't sign up for. When your physical self stops feeling familiar, it rattles your entire sense of who you are. And the other culprit is comparison culture. It's crushing you. You're mid-scroll, still in yesterday's pyjamas, watching someone's living my best life post. That's the moment. That's the killer. Social media bombards you with polished, put-together versions while you're living the messy reality. That constant measuring stick is fueling your insecurities and eroding your confidence. When hormones, identity, roles, relationships all seem to be shifting at once, and you're pushing through the chaos and forcing yourself to be always on, it's no wonder your confidence feels fragile. It creates a perfect storm for self-doubt. Remember that 13-year-old girl walking home in the rain? She could have let that rejection define her. Instead, she found a supportive teacher and kept right on dancing. That's what I need you to understand. A confidence dip isn't some character flaw. It's a normal response to major life transitions. And just like that girl, you can rebuild. Which brings us back to you, and why rebuilding your confidence now matters more than ever. Let's get something straight. The notion that some people are just naturally confident and others aren't? That's complete nonsense. That woman who walks into every room like she owns it? She wasn't born that way. What you're seeing is practice. She's put herself in uncomfortable situations enough times that discomfort doesn't stop her anymore. She's developed resilience. She's hit roadblocks, survived them, and kept going. And deliberate habits. She consistently chooses actions that build her sense of capability. Confidence isn't fixed. It's a skill you can relearn and strengthen, even if you haven't felt confident in years. There's real psychology behind this, by the way. Psychologist Albert Bandura spent decades studying where self-belief actually comes from. And the single biggest driver wasn't a pep talk or positive thinking or someone telling you, "You've got this." It was doing the hard thing and watching yourself pull it off. He called it a mastery experience. I call it a receipt. You see, feeling confident was never the entry fee. It's what you get handed on the way out. But the thing is, you can't build confidence while you're still hiding your expertise, hiding your needs, hiding behind everyone else's priorities. And before you beat yourself up for hiding, you had good reasons. You learned that showing up fully got you dismissed, that speaking up got you labelled, that taking up space ruffled feathers. So you made yourself smaller. You didn't do it out of weakness, you did it out of intelligence. You were smart enough to read the room. But here's what happens when you stay small for too long. You forget you were ever anything else. Confidence doesn't mean feeling fearless. It means acting before you feel ready, proving you can do tough things, and watching your belief in yourself grow. Think of it like working out. You don't wait until you're strong to start lifting weights. You lift weights to get strong. Confidence works exactly the same way. Midlife has a way of shaking everything up at once. The world starts expecting more from you right as your inner critic starts expecting less. And that's when the "who do you think you are" voice gets loudest. You can't escape that nagging feeling that you'll be found out as a fraud. I know this one intimately. After I lost my TV role and pivoted into marketing consulting, the first time someone hired me, paying real money for my business advice, my immediate thought was, do I actually know enough to charge people for this? Never mind that I'd spent 2 decades building and promoting my own personal brand as a television presenter, pitching, positioning, PR, getting people to trust a face and a name enough to tune in week after week. That's marketing. That's exactly what I was now getting paid to teach other people to do. But in that moment, none of it counted. My brain quietly filed all of it under "that was different" and started the imposter tally from 0. Suddenly, I was supposed to guide others in growing their business while I was still figuring out my own. And that little voice in my head got very loud. Who do you think you are? What made it worse was the turmoil of navigating a competitive business world while also managing all the behind-the-scenes life stuff. Hormonal chaos, brain fog that ambushed me mid-sentence, and a body that didn't cooperate the way it used to. My inner critic had a field day with that combination. You're falling apart and trying to tell other people how to succeed? You forgot your own pitch mid-sentence yesterday. Who's the expert now? Who's going to take you seriously when you can barely take yourself seriously? That voice wasn't just questioning my qualifications. It was using my midlife struggles as proof I didn't deserve success. What's really tragic is, while you're questioning your worth, opportunities are passing you by. Here's why rebuilding confidence in midlife is vital, not vanity. This is the time when you have the most to contribute, the wisdom to know what matters, the experience to execute, and the self-awareness to lead authentically. But without confidence, all of that stays locked inside, while others who doubt less get the opportunities you deserve. Confidence is a muscle. It atrophies if you don't flex it. But here's the part nobody wants to hear. You can't think your way to confidence. You can journal about it. You can vision board it. You can affirm yourself in the mirror until your reflection gets bored. None of that builds confidence. Only action does. Which means the thing you're most avoiding, that's probably where your confidence is hiding. Your confidence muscle strengthens through action, not just thinking. So here are 4 practical approaches you can use to build yours. First one's simple. Stop saying, "I'm not sure," but when you actually are. It's time to reclaim your expertise. You've been downplaying your knowledge because you think everyone else is more qualified. Stop. You have decades of experience solving problems. Own it. Next time someone asks for advice in your area of expertise, don't deflect with, "I'm not sure," but just answer. Your insight matters. This next one's hard to hear, but it's the most important. Start before you're ready. That project you've been endlessly preparing for, that conversation you've been planning. You're not actually preparing, you're hiding behind perfectionism. Your 25-year-old self would have jumped in already, not because she was braver than you are now or that she had more to offer. The difference? Failure hadn't taught her to be afraid yet. She didn't have decades of evidence that things can go wrong. You do, and that wisdom is valuable, except when it keeps you frozen. She knew something you've forgotten. Perfect timing is a myth. The only timing that matters is now. This next one sounds like a no-brainer, so why are we so bad at it? Protect your energy. People who drain you siphon confidence. You need to become much more selective about who you give your precious energy, time, and attention to, and start weeding out the chaff. Who's on your list of people who quietly drain you every single time? The person who subtly undermines every win? The colleague who questions every idea? Maybe it's the family member who reminds you of every past mistake. Limit exposure. Your confidence is too valuable to hand over to people who don't appreciate it. And let's get physical for a moment. Listen to your body. What's your body been trying to tell you that you've been too busy to hear? You need to learn to listen. This was a game changer for me. I had to tune into what my midlife body actually needed and realise that what worked for me 20 years ago wouldn't work for me now. Your body is saying no to late nights that leave you depleted, relationships that drain you, and commitments that don't align with your values. Stop fighting your body. Start listening. That's how you learn to trust yourself again. And trust is the root of confidence. I'd love you to give this prime power move a go this week. Choose one small action that stretches your comfort zone by just 10%. Now, I'll be honest, I'm an A-type personality and my stretch was often way more than 10%. More like, hold my wine and watch this. But I'm giving you the sustainable version. You see, you don't need to be an overachiever to build confidence. Just 10%. Not terrifying, just a little uncomfortable. Ask for what you want. Share your opinion when you'd normally stay silent. Post something honest instead of polished. Walk into the room like you own it. And when it goes well, don't minimise it. Your brain will immediately try to tell you it was a fluke. It'll say, no big deal, or anyone could have given that presentation, as if you didn't just single-handedly command the room while navigating a hot flush and a faulty projector. Don't let your brain win, and don't listen. That moment counts. That move builds muscle. That's how confidence grows, through repetition and small wins. Confidence isn't magic. It's not an exclusive club for extroverts, influencers, or the loudest person in the room. It's a muscle. Something you build one brave choice at a time, even when it feels awkward. And the best part? It's never too late to start. If this resonated with you, if you're tired of hesitating at every turn and ready to reclaim yourself, my Hot Flashes newsletter is where I share the real talk about midlife transformation. No fluff, no platitudes, just practical strategy for women who are done shrinking, settling, and second-guessing. Links in the show notes. Pick your 10% stretch this week. That's your prime power move. One small action that nudges you just beyond the limits of your comfort zone and into growth. Then notice what shifts. Confidence doesn't arrive before you act. It follows your lead. Next week, we're diving into what a prime life actually looks like and how to tell if you're living yours. Until then, remember, you don't need a revelation. You just need a bit of repetition. Your prime life is calling. Stop sending it to voicemail and pick up the phone. Thanks for being here. I'll catch you next time.